I finally caught up to One Piece. Get excited. I'm not gonna lie, it is hard to believe because years ago, like in my senior year of high school, right before quarantine happened, one of my teachers told me that I should watch One Piece, and I literally told him I'm never watching that. That show is too long. And then here I am now, and I'm at the end. It took me a year and a half, and I enjoyed it. I wouldn't say One Piece is my favorite anime, but it definitely is probably the best story I've seen in any shonen, hands down. I'll probably make a video just talking about One Piece as a whole, but for now, I finally finished WANO. I'm caught up, so here's Act 1. Reverie is barely even an arc, but I do like that it's a recap just to try to refresh your memory for WANO since it's going to be such a long arc. It is well needed. But there's only one thing that I want to talk about in Reverie that it sort of just blew my mind. So in a previous video, I complained about Queen Orihime and Celestial Dragon that she saved. And I was basically saying that, can you just let Celestial Dragon die? Their assholes, just kick him off. But Oda, with how good he is at writing, that Celestial Dragon actually came back, was turned into a good person, and saved Princess... What was the princess's name? I'm gonna be honest, I forgot the princess's name, but he saved the mermaid princess from Fishman Island. And I just think that's amazing that Oda didn't forget about him, and I just had to mention that. That's the kind of writing that I like from Oda, and like he just proved me wrong, that like he follows up with everything. He doesn't forget about anything. And immediately from the first episode in WANO, you could just tell everything is different, and you could tell that this is what Oda has been building up to, or at least the anime has been building up to. The art style is different, the outlines are amazing, the colors are beautiful, the whole show just seems more serious with like some of the first few fight scenes and just the tone. Everything just completely changes, and I want to say it doesn't even feel like One Piece at this point. I mean, obviously it is One Piece, but it feels like a different world, which it is because WANO is cut off from the world in One Piece, and everything that the anime does with the art style and the tone of it really adds to the thought that this world is not a part technically of the world that One Piece is in. The first few episodes I was a little bored, but there were a lot of fights to keep me interested. I do like seeing Luffy and Zoro team up, as they're the first two to be a part of the Straw Hats, and I like seeing them fight alongside each other and just have their little moment by themselves, because Zoro is my favorite character, and just having them as a duo is really cool. But really, this arc wastes no time. In my opinion, I kind of wish we could have done without the time travel. Yes, the time travel works, but for me, when you like into like a lot of different things, like, you know, Marvel, or you read some books, or you're just into a lot of different like fiction and like pop culture, it just feels like everything has time travel. So then for One Piece to have time travel, I was kind of like, I kind of enjoyed it like being the one thing without time travel. Now, imagine this. Saturday morning, 11 a.m., you just had leftover pizza for breakfast. You got work later, and you might go skate today because it's a nice day out, so you might want to get some skate practice in. So before that, you decide to watch maybe just one more episode of One Piece before you go. And then this fucking happens. Best believe I did not go to skate after that. I just continued to watch. This shit got the arc popping. Oh my gosh, this first fight is beautiful. You know from when he shows up that this is the villain that we've been waiting to see since like pretty much the beginning of the show. Luffy versus Kaido was amazing. The first one, it was amazing. The animation was superb, and I thought the fight was really well done. And I'm so happy to finally see Kaido in action because he's been hyped up for so damn long, and it was amazing. It all paid off just in this first fight, and this is only the first fight too. Overall, Act 1 was pretty short though, and I would say it's maybe the second best of the acts. Act 2. Okay, first off, I just want to say, why is Gekko Moria alive? You literally faked his death like 3 times. Just please let him die. Act 2 was rough for me. It's mostly set up for the third and final act, but everybody in this act, this whole act just felt like a side mission. Frankie, Sanji, Robin, Usopp, they weren't really involved that much. I mean, Sanji had like a few action scenes in this, but the other 3 were just sort of there. I mean, I know they were like building the ships or trying to get information, but a lot of the times when they were shown, I was just bored because they weren't weren't really doing anything that was cool in my opinion. And I don't know what the hell Zoro was doing. He was like, normally he was getting lost and he was just like off doing whatever he wanted. I mean, he had cool ass fights, but for the most part, he was doing his own thing. I was like, every time I saw him on the screen, I was like, yo, what are you doing? Of course, I don't mind the action though, but anything that was outside of the prison, I really didn't care for. And I say this all the time, and I think it's never gonna change. I don't think Oda knows how to do deaths, or at least Shonen won't let him do deaths, right? Because I didn't care for Yasui's death. He kills off people that are just introduced or that won't have that much of an effect on the story, or at least like the fans. Like, he doesn't kill off people that are really important. Yasui, we just met. We know we found out that he's important later on. His death is supposed to be like this big thing in the town, but we didn't know that yet, so I didn't know his backstory yet, so why do I care at this point? Out of the 9 samurai, Kawamatsu is maybe one of my favorite. I love that guy, Kawamatsu. To me, he is so cool. I love the green and I love his design. One thing about One Piece is that there's so many cool designs, colors, and ways that characters are created to make them look cool. And I feel like Kawamatsu is like a representation of that, because I think he's amazing. And also, he's nice with the sword. When I started to feel interested again was when Big Mom finally arrived at the prison. The whole sequence with Big Mom at the prison was very entertaining. And I actually do like Queen. To me, Queen is very funny. He's a very interesting character, and every time he's on screen, I laugh. And I love this consistency of One Piece's characters' strengths. One Piece's power scaling is actually not too bad. I know some animes where power scaling is really rough, but for One Piece, for the most part, it's consistent and he keeps it in check. Like, Big Mom shows up and everybody's still afraid of her, even Queen. Like, he knows that she's a problem. I would have liked some more of Kaido in this act, but I know more of that is coming up in the 3rd act. Act 3. Act 3 starts off crazy. The abolition of the warlords is a very interesting turn of events. I knew that it was bound to happen soon because after all, they are pirates, but having it happen now, I can't wait to see the future of that and to see how everything turns out. It also starts off with the best flashback in the history of like anything. Throughout One Piece, you're told some things about Gold Roger, you're told some things about Whitebeard, and more recently, you're told some things about the Kozuki clan. But you don't believe it until you see it. This flashback makes everyone live up to their name. Seeing Gold Roger and Whitebeard in action is insane. You can see like why they ran the seas for so many years. Seeing Young Buggy and Shanks is really interesting too, and seeing like, you know, Blackbeard before everything is really interesting, and the pirate side of it is really fun and entertaining, but the Wano side of it is probably my favorite part about it. Oden is one of my favorite characters in One Piece. His whole like philosophy and his character design, the way he looks, the way he is just amazing. Having him on screen was so fun, and that is a death that I actually cared about in One Piece for like the first time. Like, I think this is the first death that I was like, I'm mad that he died. I loved every second of time he was on screen. I'm not gonna lie, before this flashback, I didn't really believe in their cause, meaning like Kinemon, Momonosuke, and like the 9, but like I wasn't really interested in what they were fighting for until this flashback. Seeing that they were like a family and how much they all, and how everything went down and how they were all connected. Like, after seeing this, it made me really want them to like chop Kaido's head off and like chop the Shogun's head off. Like, I really wanted them to succeed. Momonosuke and Kinemon's reunion, I didn't really feel for it. Like, I was sort of like, I was like, okay, they're crying, they must really like each other, but I didn't believe in it. Same with like them finding Kanjuro, or like them finally meeting up with Raizo. Like, you see why Kinemon was trying so hard this whole time, and like what he went through. And like, to him, that flashback only happened like 3 days ago. To a lot of people, it's been 20 years, but to me, like, I just lost you and I just lost my leader, and I finally get to see you again. They went through hell and back to get to this point. It also made me appreciate Act 2 more, because I know they went through the trouble of getting everybody together and getting all these troops and getting everything set up, and now I see why it was such a headache. Once Orochi said there was a spy, I didn't really expect that. That was like actually kind of shocking, but when you kind of had to break it down, the only person I would say was Kanjuro. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I predicted that, but when I had to choose between who was on the boat, I did in my head say it has to be Kanjuro. To me, it was the only one that made sense, because like he was the one that he never really talked as much as the others, and he's the only one that like looked as like the figure in the flashback that they showed when they said that there was a spy. But that twist was still like pretty wild. It's like, damn, he was a spy for like basically 20 years. Like, the link up in the first fight with the big three from the worst generation is actually hype as fuck. That whole fight was beautiful, and it was animated so well. I loved it. I'm finally happy that Jinbei actually finally showed up. It kind of took him a while, but he's one of the characters that I like more. I'm happy for him to join in the Straw Hats, and I can't wait to see like what he does in the future arcs. The whole run through the castle was so fun. The beginning run before like everybody got into their real battles was so fun. Watching Kid in action is amazing. The Usopp Chopper Ditto versus Big Mom, I actually thought that fight was actually really cool, and seeing them work to get away from Big Mom and how scared they were, that was enjoyable. It's cool to see everybody use their abilities in different ways. There's no way he's gonna kill Momo. Oh wait, he killed Orochi? He's not really dead, is he though? Oh shit, he's fucking dead. What the fuck? I've never felt more for side characters in One Piece than I did for the 9 retainers. When they attacked Kaido in like the showroom, I'm not gonna lie, I teared up a little bit because that flashback made me feel for it so much. Those 9, they're amazing. I also teared up when I hit episode 1000 a little bit because like to me it's really hard to believe that I watched like 1000 episodes of one show. It took me like a year and a half. It was just like a really long time. I'm like, damn. Finally made it. Okay, but there's like a few things that don't really float my boat about this arc, like Yamato, Kaido's son. It's just sort of like they came out of nowhere. It's like, why did they show up so late? Why aren't they mentioned earlier? Those are just some questions that I have for the character. Some other things is like Otama showing up to save Usopp and Nami. Usopp and Nami surviving that fight against the Tobi Roppo girl with the headbutts. Like I know it's an anime, but like they should have probably died or gotten seriously injured. And this whole time I keep questioning, why hasn't Momonosuke turned into a dragon yet? When he was on the crucifix kind of thing, he should have turned into a dragon this whole time. Why hasn't he turned into a dragon? He could have easily got out of that by turning into a dragon. Why didn't they do it earlier? Like they could have made it sort of like Super Saiyan or like a Sharingan. Like he uses his power, like he uses speeches when he's in trouble, but he doesn't use his power when he's in trouble. That doesn't make sense to me. I enjoyed Ace's little flashback. I just wish there was a place a little bit earlier. Yo, in the final fight with the worst generation versus the Emperors, that shit is cinematic as fuck. There's so many nice shots in this scene and just cool action sequences and the colors. I want to keep mentioning the colors, man, because the show is just really shining when it comes to like animation and art style during this. The thing I like about Wano's art style is that it feels like it's come out of a sketchbook and that's like straight off the paper. Like I mentioned before, Oda doesn't forget anything. Like Luffy being rubber and being able to resist Big Mom's lightning. Those just little things that I like. It keeps everything consistent. But why can't Oda keep anyone dead? Orochi, Jack, Kanjuro. It's just like anytime somebody dies, I don't really believe it because it's like, I mean, it may not be his choice, but to me, I'm just like, they're not really dead. They're gonna come back in like a few episodes because so far everybody comes back that dies. And those like are a few things that I didn't like, but there's like actually some things that you just cannot let slide. Like Big Mom falling into the water and surviving. That makes absolutely no sense. She falls into the ocean. We know everybody with devil fruits has a weakness to the ocean. So she falls deep into the ocean. She can't swim. Not only that, a power of a devil fruit saves her. And not only that, the power is fire. It goes into water and it doesn't burn out. There's like multiple things wrong with that sentence. There's like 3 things wrong with that scene. And the dinosaur girl from the Tobi Roppo, she also should have died from that Big Mom laser beam that she got through her stomach. I'm not gonna lie, Jinbei versus Who's It Who? That's actually a pretty good fight, but it's very short. And why is this scene with Robin versus the Spider Girl so evil? I like Robin though, she's too nice for that. As of episode 1045, I have finally caught up with the anime. So anything animated after that point, I did not see. At this point, I started reading the manga and now I am fully caught up with the manga. I'm on Egghead. Most of the things that I wrote in this, actually everything that I wrote in this was my initial reaction to everything. The manga just moves so much faster than the anime. Like Sanji and Zoro versus lead performers was just very quick in the manga, but in the anime I know it's gonna be a while. It's just paced so much differently. I'm happy that Momonosuke finally used his devil fruit. I thought it was gonna be wasted. In terms of villainy, Big Mom is better than Kaido when it comes to that. Like Big Mom has a fear factor. Like Big Mom is more of a threat than Kaido to me. I feel like she's more powerful too. I mean, she is older than him, and when she's on screen, she is literally just a menace. She seems like the Green Goblin to me. Like she has that mad villainy that I love. And reading and watching her fight just proves that even more for me. Everything that she does is just like, it feels like she has evil intent. Law and Kid versus Big Mom, I can't wait to see that animated. That is definitely a good fight. Okay, this is the part that's probably going to be a little bit controversial, but Gear 5 is cool, but is it good writing? Here's why. So basically at the end of Naruto and Sasuke were basically said to be reincarnations of two sons from basically the god of Shinobi. And that's sort of like taking away from their character, because it's like, okay, so everything that they accomplished was because they're reincarnations of very powerful people, and it's not just because they accomplished that because they were good. It's sort of the same with this devil fruit. To me, it's sort of like, okay, is everything that Luffy accomplished was because it was a god, like a god's devil fruit, and like he had the most OP devil fruit, or was it because of him? I know he awakened it only up until this point, and maybe you could say maybe before that wasn't, the sun god didn't have anything to do with Luffy, like, well, he wasn't involved with Luffy before he awakened it. So like if Luffy ate another devil fruit, would he have gotten this far, or did he get far because of him? Like I said, you could say like, what the fuck, he only awakened it at this point, and or that he only ate the fruit on accident. When someone gets just god powers out of nowhere, I'm just sort of like, oh, then that was kind of whack. I didn't know Jack was a fish man. But in conclusion, everything that happened in Onigashima was crazy, and it was very exciting to watch, and I can't wait to see the rest animated, and I can't wait to see for the future arcs of One Piece. I'm mostly excited to see like Buggy and Crocodile and Mihawk, them teaming up. All that is really interesting to me. Overall, WANO was an amazing arc. Was it better than Whole Cake in my opinion? I don't know, but I did enjoy Whole Cake more. To me, Whole Cake was like non-stop, so there was like no bullshit. It was just straight beef the whole time, and that's what I liked about Whole Cake. But WANO was a sight to behold, and it was definitely worth waiting for all this time because it was built up so early on. And that is it for the One Piece videos. I finally caught up. I'm not doing another video after this because honestly they're like not as fun as I thought they were at first. This is maybe like the last review. I think I'm gonna move into more like creative videos, making like, I don't know, like short films or shorter videos, like and I started skating, so I'm gonna start doing more of that stuff. One Piece then, that was a journey, and I can't wait to see how it ends. But as usual, thank you for watching. I'll catch you on the flip side.